I want to ask you something honestly. Have you ever tried to please your partner? Really tried to make her feel good? And no matter what you did, it just didn't land? She didn't seem excited. She felt distant or distracted. And even though you thought you were doing everything right, the response you hoped for never came. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Almost every man I've worked with has asked me the same question at some point. What kind of foreplay actually works? After more than 11 years in clinical practice, I can tell you this with confidence. There is one approach that works for almost all women. It's simple, it's natural, and when done correctly, it doesn't fail. It doesn't require tricks, it doesn't rely on pills or performance, and it doesn't demand hours of effort. But it does change the way your partner responds to you both physically and emotionally. Because when you understand this method, something important shifts. You stop guessing. You stop feeling anxious or pressured. And instead, you begin to guide the experience with calm confidence, knowing exactly what helps her body respond. Here's the truth most men are never told. Foreplay is not about memorizing the right move. It's not about copying something you saw online. It's about understanding how a woman's body works, biologically and emotionally. Once you understand that, intimacy becomes easier, more natural, more connected. Today, I'm going to explain the science behind the one type of foreplay that consistently works, and more importantly, why it works. And before we go any further, I want to make you a promise. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to help your partner feel safe, connected, and deeply responsive. Even if you've struggled for years, even if you're in your 40s, 50s, or beyond. I've seen men well into their 70s transform their intimate lives, not by trying harder, but by working smarter. My name is Dr. Emily Carter. I'm a board-certified clinician, and for over a decade, I've helped men improve confidence, circulation, and intimacy naturally by understanding the body instead of fighting it. In this video, I'll walk you through why most foreplay fails even when intentions are good, the 4 common mistakes that quietly shut down desire, the exact technique that works reliably step by step, and how to keep connection fresh and meaningful no matter how long you've been together. Stay with me until the end because what you're about to learn may completely change how you think about intimacy. Now, let's start with an important question. Why does foreplay fail so often? Even when men genuinely care? Let's be honest for a moment. Most men were never taught how female arousal actually works. We learn through trial and error. And when something doesn't work, we assume she's tired, distracted, or that something is wrong with us. But the truth is this: it's usually not your fault. Men and women respond to desire very differently. For most men, arousal works like a switch. It turns on quickly. It's direct and predictable. For women, arousal works more like a dimmer. It builds gradually, layer by layer. And here's the science behind that. When a man becomes aroused, blood flow to the genitals increases almost immediately. The signal is fast and localized. For women, arousal depends on a much broader system: circulation, hormones, nervous system signals, and most importantly, emotional safety. If she feels rushed, if she senses pressure, if her mind is still tense or distracted, her body simply cannot respond fully, even if she wants to. This is because her arousal system is deeply connected to her brain. Her body does not decide when to open, her nervous system does. So when a man jumps straight into physical stimulation before that system is ready, Her body may not interpret it as pleasure at all. Sometimes it feels neutral. Sometimes it creates resistance instead of relaxation. Think of it like this: trying to create desire without preparing her nervous system is like lighting a match on a cold surface. It flares briefly, then disappears. But when the system is warm and receptive, even a small spark becomes a steady flame. That's the difference between mechanical foreplay and real connection. Here's something most men never realize: foreplay doesn't start when you touch her. It starts the moment she feels your presence, your tone, your pace, your breathing, the way you look at her. These signals tell her nervous system whether you are safe, grounded, and emotionally present. And once her system feels that safety, her body begins to open naturally. This is why so many men feel like they are trying hard but getting nowhere. They're doing the right things but in the wrong order. Once you understand how her body and brain work together, everything changes. You stop feeling uncertain. You stop forcing outcomes. And she begins responding in ways that feel natural, effortless, and deeply connected. In a moment, I'll explain the most reliable foreplay approach I've taught in my practice. But first, we need to look at the 4 common mistakes that silently block desire, even in caring, experienced men. Because once these mistakes are removed, her body does what it's designed to do. Let's break this down clearly. Even loving, attentive men make these mistakes. Not because they don't care, but because no one ever explained how female arousal actually shuts down. Mistake number 1: going straight to direct stimulation. Many men believe this is what she wants: touching her intimately right away. Oral stimulation too early. Focusing immediately on one specific area. Here's the problem: if her nervous system isn't ready, those areas are not fully responsive yet. They may feel dull, overstimulated, or even slightly uncomfortable. This is like pressing harder on a door that hasn't been unlocked. More effort doesn't help. Direct stimulation works best when her entire body is already awake. Before that point, it often backfires. Mistake number 2: touching that is too light. This surprises a lot of men. They think being extremely gentle is romantic. But when touch is too soft, too hesitant, it doesn't register as desire. Her nervous system needs clarity, pressure, intention. Touch that feels unsure is processed as uncertainty, not attraction. At the same time, grabbing or rushing also shuts things down. What works is grounded touch, calm pressure, a steady rhythm that says, "I'm here, and I'm not in a hurry." Mistake number 3: using massage as the entire foreplay. Massage feels good. It relaxes her muscles. But relaxation alone does not equal arousal. Massage moves her nervous system into rest mode, which is peaceful but not activating. Massage should be a doorway, not the destination. If you stay there too long, her body settles instead of awakening. Mistake number 4: keeping her in her head, talking too much, joking, explaining, trying to be clever in the moment. All of that pulls her attention upward. Real arousal happens when thinking quiets and sensation takes over. If she's analyzing, responding, or laughing, she's not surrendering. You want her breathing to change, her body to soften, her awareness to move inward. So if any of these mistakes sound familiar, don't judge yourself. Almost every man makes them at some point. The good news is this: when you stop doing what blocks her system, desire doesn't need to be forced. It appears on its own. Now we get to the part that actually works, the one form of foreplay that doesn't depend on tricks, age, or performance. The method that works because it speaks directly to her nervous system. In the next part, I'll show you the approach I call full body flow and why it never fails when done correctly. This is where everything changes. The most powerful form of foreplay is not a move, not a trick, not a sequence. It's a state. I call it full body flow. And once you understand it, you stop guessing forever. Here's the core idea. Her skin is not just something you touch, it is her largest sensory organ. Every inch of it sends information directly to her brain. When you stimulate only one small area, her system stays fragmented. But when you stimulate multiple areas slowly and rhythmically, her nervous system shifts into coherence. That's when arousal turns on naturally. No force, no pressure, no effort. So, what is full body flow? It means you stop touching her in pieces and start surrounding her with sensation. Your hands, your chest, your breath, your presence all move in together. Instead of focusing on one spot, you move across the large regions: her back, her sides, her hips, her thighs, her abdomen, slowly, continuously, with intention. Why this works biologically. Her nervous system responds best to predictable rhythm combined with gentle variation. When touch is steady, her brain feels safe. When it subtly changes, her brain becomes curious. Safety plus curiosity equals desire. This is why rushing kills arousal, and why random disconnected touching feels confusing. Now let's make this practical. First, presence. Before you touch her, slow yourself down, slow your breathing, lower your shoulders. Let your body feel heavy and grounded. Women sense nervous systems instantly. If you are tense, rushed, or distracted, her body stays guarded. If you are calm and settled, her body mirrors that. Second, multiple points of contact. Do not rely only on your hands. Let your chest lightly meet her back. Let your thigh rest against hers. Let your breath be close enough that she feels warmth. The more surface contact you create, the faster her system opens. Third, slow movement. Move slower than feels natural. If you think you're going slow, slow down again. This is critical. Slow movement gives her nervous system time to register sensation. Fast movement forces her brain to keep up. You want sensation to lead, not thought. Fourth, variation in pressure. Sometimes soft, sometimes firm, never abrupt. Think of it like waves, a little more pressure, then a little less, then steady again. This keeps her body engaged without startling it. Now something important. Full body flow is not about doing more. It's about listening. One, her breathing will tell you everything. When her breath deepens, stay where you are. When her body leans into you, continue. When she tenses, soften and slow. You are not performing, you are responding. This is why this works at any age. It does not rely on endurance. It does not rely on speed. It does not rely on strength. It relies on awareness. And awareness improves with maturity. In the next part, I'll show you how to keep this from ever becoming routine, even after years together. This is where most couples fail and where you can stand out permanently. Here's the truth most men never hear. Desire doesn't disappear with time. It disappears with predictability. Even the best technique fails if it becomes automatic. So the goal is not to find one perfect method. The goal is to keep her nervous system curious. And curiosity is created through attunement, not novelty. Let me explain. Most men think variety means doing new things, new positions, new moves, new tricks. But the female nervous system doesn't crave novelty for novelty's sake. It craves being felt. That's why the same touch can feel electric one night and empty another. So how do you keep it alive? First, read her state, not your plan. Every night she is different. Some nights she needs grounding. Some nights she needs reassurance. Some nights she wants intensity. Some nights she wants softness. If you repeat the same rhythm every time, her body stops responding. Instead, ask yourself one simple question before you touch her. What does her body need tonight? Not what worked last time. Not what usually works. Tonight. Second, adjust the tempo. This is powerful and rarely taught. If you always move slowly, change nothing but pace. Begin very slowly, then pause completely, then resume. Or start steady and grounded, then briefly increase firmness, then soften again. Tiny shifts create massive effects. Her brain lights up because it can't predict what comes next. Third, use emotional tone, not words. Some nights your touch should say, "I've got you." Other nights, "I want you." Other nights, "I see you." You don't say this out loud. Your body communicates it. The way you hold her, the way you pause, the way you stay present instead of rushing. Fourth, never turn intimacy into a checklist. The moment you think, "Now I do step 1, step 2, step 3, it dies. Because she can feel when you're executing instead of connecting. Connection is not linear, it's responsive. If she melts, stay. If she shifts, follow. If she relaxes deeply, slow down even more. Fifth, keep curiosity alive outside the bedroom. This matters more than men realize. Ask her later, casually, "What did you like most earlier?" Not during the moment. Not with pressure, just curiosity. This does two things. It shows confidence, and it gives you insight most men never get. Now, one last critical piece, especially for men over 50. Even when your mind knows what to do, your body must support it. Presence, stamina, and confidence all rely on circulation. As men age, circulation naturally slows. Not because something is wrong, but because blood vessels lose flexibility. When circulation drops, energy drops. When energy drops, anxiety appears. And anxiety breaks presence. The solution is not pills or quick fixes. It's supporting your body's natural nitric oxide production. This is the molecule that keeps blood vessels open and responsive. You support it naturally through leafy greens, beets, watermelon, and consistent movement. When circulation improves, everything changes. You feel grounded. Your body responds. Your mind relaxes. And when your mind relaxes, connection deepens effortlessly. This is why men in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s can become better lovers than they were in their 30s. Not because of performance, because of presence. Let me leave you with this. Foreplay is not about impressing her. It's about making her feel safe enough to open and curious enough to stay. If this video gave you a new perspective, like it, subscribe to Dr. Emily Carter, Senior Health, and leave a comment telling me which part surprised you most. I read every comment. And remember, gentlemen, desire doesn't fade with age. It deepens when you learn how to listen. I'll see you in the next video.